Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Thanks so much for joining me today on a live Q&A here on both YouTube and on Twitch if you're on Twitch. Now if you are on Twitch, I will try to look at the comments there, but I will be doing the YouTube comments first until we figure out a way to get the YouTube comments and Twitch comments to kind of merge into a place I can look at both of them. But hey, it was a weekend. It was a long weekend. Well, it was a long weekend for me. A lot of different things going on. I had 2 birthdays in my house. Clara, my daughter, turned 12, and Melody turned 18. Childhood gone. But that's okay. So I got to play actually several games over the weekend with my family, and just had a good time overall. I'm back. This is a busy week. I've already put together 5 videos today, and I'm going to try to put together a few more because next week we're going to be at the Gamma Trade Show for the first half of the week and at MeepleCon for the second half. So in this show, or in this particular thing, I will be answering questions. If you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll answer those. I'm not actually seeing any. Hey, well, it looks actually like the Twitch comments are going to come here too. Well, that's fantastic. All right, so lots of questions. Thoughts on Fun Again is the first one. Well, it's an unfortunate thing, right? Fun Again, I was going to mention it's my news, and I will mention it in the news next week. Fun Again, if you haven't heard, funagain.com, as they stopped doing their online service, or just down to their retail stores, and that's sad. I really liked Fun Again. We used to work with Fun Again. We moved the Cool Stuff, not for any bad things with Fun Again, but because Cool Stuff is closer to us. It just made sense with them being in Orlando and us down here in Miami. But man, they were so good to us, the people at Fun Again. They're great. It's sad to see this happen, but I do hope that their local stores continue to do exceptionally well. Last month, there was a Dice Tower podcast contest to encourage people to send in new tales of gaming stories. Where and when was the winner of the contest announced? It might be announced on the next show that Eric and I do. Have you had a chance to try out Western Legends? I don't think it's out yet. So when it's out, I'll probably try it. Let's see here. And I will start this out. I posted a Dice Tower FAQ last week, a video for that, so you can go check that out. If you wonder why your question was not answered, it might be answered there. And of course, if you say, have you played this yet? Will you review this or whatever? Those questions are usually just all bundled together and will come out with the reviews when I do them, or have already been published as a review. Although I'll answer this one. It says, what did you think of your playthrough of Batman? Did you enjoy the game mechanisms? Well, I liked Batman. It was a lot of fun. It's very similar to Conan. I guess the best way to answer that question is to say, have you backed it? And I have. So I'm getting a copy of it myself. I really like Batman. I thought this did a good job at bringing the Batman theme to life for me. Let's see here. If storage space wasn't an issue, what cap would you place in your personal collection, if any? Yeah, storage is an issue here, right? And it's going to continue to be an issue. But even if it wasn't, I like to think that I would still cap my collection. I don't think it's important to have a ton of games. I'm actually going to probably be making a small culling of my own games soon anyway. I really like keeping my collection lean and mean. Why should I have games in my collection that I never play, really? Let's see. How many full-time employees work at the Dice Tower? There are 5 full-time employees, including myself, and then 2 part-time employees. Although those numbers will hopefully go up as time goes by. Does Raider of the North Sea deserve a new review with how much you like it with the expansions? I don't know if it deserves a new review, but I'm reviewing both of those expansions tomorrow. What do you think is your most annoying gaming habit? If you feel okay answering, but you're Tom Vasel, you'll probably be willing to answer. I think my most annoying rule, I don't think I'm good to teach games to. I know that's bad. I'm so used to teaching games that it drives me crazy, and so I know my annoying habit is like reaching for that rule book. Let me figure it out from the rules. I try not to. I try to bite my lip and try not to. That's probably it, I guess. At least that's what I've been told. Any more information on your your trip to Toronto. I don't know anything else about that. I apologize. It has not been set up yet, and that's only a month away, so hopefully it's set up soon. What is Chief Sokoto's favorite type of triangle? Oh, an acute, for sure. And there's a lot of reasons for it. Backstory, but our spaceship, the Vouche, it's basically all acute triangles. I think he set it up that way. I don't believe there's an obtuse triangle in the thing, which makes it a bit difficult to fit in, and sometimes the right triangle would work well, but the Vlex triangles handle that better because they are acute triangles, but they're also obtuse in the other dimensions. But anyway, acute. Let's see. Is your Euro kick still going strong? Well, yeah. I mean, but you know, I'm always in the mood for anything. Actually, I guess so, because Melody and I just played a Euro game this past weekend, and we got one set up on the table. We set it up last night, and Melody was nodding as I was starting to go through the rules, and I was like, "Yeah, mate, how about we wait till tomorrow to do this one?" Because I was not necessarily in the mood to tackle a bigger Euro game like the one we were about to play. So it's set up, and I've threatened everyone in the house with death if it's messed up when we get home. So hopefully it's still there. Do you ever buy art from board games or their artist? Well, if they were selling it, I might. I have some board game art. Yellow. I have a book of art from Yellow, and I would consider it. There's a lot of artists, board game art that I really, really like. Is there a format that you use for your reviews? Well, sure. I review I intro the game, I show how to play the game, I then review the components for the game, and then I review the game itself. That's my format, but everyone can have a different format if they want to. Did you watch any of the movies that were nominated for the Oscars? I think the only one I've seen is Get Out, and even that one I fast-forwarded through a lot of it because I was scared. I think that's the only one I've seen. I don't really watch a ton of movies that are out in theaters. I usually wait till they come out on video or what have you. Although I just did watch Coco over the weekend, and that should have been nominated. I know it's an anime movie, but that was a great Pixar movie. I saw Bunny Kingdom just got a larger board from Yellow. Do you think this will make a big difference, or have you tried it? Oh, I haven't tried it. Will it make a big difference? I don't think it'll make a big difference. I like the game. I did order one, though, because I do want a bigger board myself. PowerPoint games. Does your interest extend to games made on PowerPoint? I don't know what you mean by that. I don't think PowerPoint's the best way to make a game. I once did a Jeopardy game on PowerPoint. It worked okay with the links and stuff, but wasn't the best. And it kept causing problems and crashing the computer. Let's see here. While playing Skyrim, do you search every container or read in-game books? Well, I'm probably like most people, right? As time goes by, you do less and less of that. Even the books, sometimes I'll read through them. I'm a speed reader, so I read them quickly, but I'm like, yeah, okay. Did this give me a skill? No, what? I mean, I do like the background and stuff of the game, but sometimes I just want to go on to the next thing, and there's so many books in that game. Every container, I search a lot of them, but after a while, I don't really search them because there's usually nothing of like super value in those containers. I'd love to hear your opinion on topics like you do in Board Game Breakfast. Do you intend to make a dedicated video series or podcast where you give your opinions on specific subjects? Well, not really. I do that in Board Game Breakfast, and occasionally I'll talk about stuff on our podcast, The Dice Tower. But I don't think I would have just a specific podcast for that. Excuse me for yawning. Have you ever had a board game store tell you cannot play a Kickstarter? The reason being that it may not be available, but what about rare games? Oh, I don't know. I've never had this happen. Even in the one store that I went to that was not a good store for a while, I never had them tell us we could not play a specific type of board game in the store. Like you can only play games you can purchase at this store. I suppose that's a a rule that a store could make, but I don't see how that would ever go over well. I wouldn't really like it. Will you ever retire the component drop? Probably not, but on days like today, I think about it. We dropped 19 games today. If Twitch Live seems to be much better than YouTube with lag, maybe you consider doing more of the versus the internet live plays. Well, that's actually a good idea. I didn't think about that. Because one of the reasons why I don't do, like I do Tom versus the internet, but there's that 30-second delay on YouTube. But if there's not as much of a delay on Twitch, that'd be much more interesting. We can do a lot more back and forth. That's a good idea. Maybe you will see some more Tom versus the internets. Why no component drop for Finn Billiards? Because it's like a gigantic game and I didn't want to break it. Have you ever been to the Netherlands? I have not. To see where Pandemic Rising Tide is based on. That's probably not why I would go to the Netherlands. I just want to go to the Netherlands because that's probably my top 10 countries I'd want to go to. I just got Champions of Midgard and I've only played it once. Is it necessary to rush out and get the Valhalla expansion? I keep hearing it fixes the game. It definitely makes the game much better, but I kept Champions of Midgard before that expansion came out. I already liked it a lot. How fast do you usually read through a novel? It's really different for every novel. Like I read really quickly, but to read quickly through a novel requires, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Sometimes I slow down. I don't know how to explain it. I'll slow down because I'm really liking it, and then it gets, the more boring it gets at certain passages, I'll burn through those. A good example is when I used to read the Battletech novels. When it got to the part where the mechs are running around shooting at each other, I would read through that really quickly because there's a lot of technical stuff there, and it just wasn't as interesting to me. Then when I got to the intrigue, I would slow down and like savor every backstabbing word that the different people would make towards each other. Does it bother you when promo cards have slight differences to the game since they were created beforehand? You have to give me a specific example there. I don't know what you're talking about. We don't allow cards against humanity at our store. Okay, yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. I could see a store not allowing certain games of a different genre. Maybe it's a pornographic game or an M-rated game, and you're like, hey, you can't play this. We got kids coming through here. You can't play that sort of game. Yeah, I can see that. I just don't know that I would necessarily think that a store would not allow a game because it's a Kickstarter game. I've never seen that, but maybe it's happened to somebody. Are you happy with the Dice Tower, how the Facebook group is evolving? Is it turning out how you imagined it? Well, I didn't really have any kind of like major imagination on it, I guess. I just wanted to get something grow. Like I've said this many times and I still agree with it. I'm glad that it's going at the rate it's going. I really like that the Facebook group has 5,000 members at this point in time. And I like that it's mostly, for the most part, very good. Well, I just deleted a very rude comment. But as I was looking at it, there was a rude comment. But for the most part, it's nice and wholesome, and it fills my feed up, and I read it. I don't respond to most of the threads, or I don't even read all the threads because there's that many. But I read a lot of the threads and go through them. I'm really happy with it. So yeah. In fact, I wonder, because we have forums on BoardGameGeek.com, but I wonder if those are, a lot of the discussion there is moving over to Dice Tower Facebook. Let's see here. Do you think Captain Sonar is unique enough to spark a new genre of somewhat similar games? No, I don't think so. I think Captain Sonar is unique and interesting, but I don't think too many games in that genre can be made because it's such a small thing. I mean, Captain Sonar, we go to a convention, we're like, hey, there's 2 teams, 8 of us, let's play Captain Sonar. Sure, I could see 2 or 3 more games in there, but you know, if you have 50 games after a while, some of them are going to really have a difficult time selling or doing well at all. Paperback has different edges on the expansion cards. Oh, well then I wouldn't use them. if the the expansion cards. Yeah, Yeah, it's not good. I thought you were saying promos. If it's promos and they don't fit in the game, I don't really care. If it's expansion, that's more problematic. Although I'll tell you what, sometimes these publishers, they don't mean it at all. Everything looked perfect in the beta copy and whatever, and then it came through poorly. What's the coolest named place in the world? I don't know. It's hard to beat Monkey's Eyebrow. Well, that's cool. That's true. What is the biggest mistake you make as a board game reviewer? You know, there's like no way to answer that without either like lending credence to someone. I knew Vasel had a problem with that, or like saying something snarky. Your biggest mistake in being a board game reviewer is, you know, never failing to underestimate the intelligence of people. You know what I mean? You could say something like that. That's not good. I thought that was the first thing that popped in my head. I guess the biggest mistake is this feels like a trap question. Maybe thinking that everyone around you is also in the same reviewing type mode you are and they're not, maybe? I backed Cities of Gears on Kickstarter. I found out it's in the Dice Tower Essentials line. No, it is not. Okay, to clarify, it was considered, it was going to be in the Dice Tower Essentials line, but it switched company. The only way a game currently can be in the Dice Tower Essentials line is if it's produced by Arcane Wonders. What changed your mind about making it a Dice Tower Essentials game? Nothing changed my mind. I was perfectly fine with the game, but I'm only part of the equation. Arcane Wonders has to approve it too, and so they did not approve it to be in their line for various reasons, different things, and so it just didn't happen. So I would have done it, but I'm not the only person. I didn't change my mind at all. Pancakes or waffles? Waffles. What's your favorite topping for it? Raspberry, I guess. But I'm not a big waffle fan either. I just like waffles better than pancakes. Fruit, I guess, would be my favorite thing for waffles. Did you end up getting more story cubes for Untold Adventures Await? Yeah, I guess I should get around to getting more of those. How many different story cubes are there? All right, let's do a quick look here. So Rory's story cubes. Okay, so you can get a set of 3 different ones for 22 bucks. There's actions, there's voyages. Okay, so those are the main 3, right? Rory story cubes, actions, and voyages. And then we have Fantasia. We have cube bundle mixes. There's packs of 3 dice. Intergalactic. Max. I don't know what that means. Clues. Batman. Man, there's a lot of Rory story cubes out there. Prehistoria. Animalia. Huh, this is interesting. That might be fun to try that out. Yeah, there's so many, I don't even know which one I would get. There's a game called Goat Lords. It says it's an awesome party game. Probably not quite true. Okay. Have you ever made your own kimchi? I have not made my own kimchi, no. With the games you play for work, how often do you play with your wife and kids? I know Melody's into gaming. How about the rest of your family? Most of my games at home are played with Melody or the Team B. I have 3 kids that are older. Melody's 18, Amy's 15, going on 16, Holly's 14. I call them Team A. Clara is 12, which isn't really that far from 13, but because Clara is mentally disabled, she hangs out with the little kids more often that are 11 and 8, going on 9. So that we call them the little big kids and little kids, or Team A, Team B. So the little kids I'm constantly playing the kids games with because they like that, and I play games with Melody. Holly will play some weird funky games with me every once in a while, and Amy's just not really interested in games at all. So that's kind of what I play. Without naming names, did a company or designer ever ask you for a good review in exchange for money or another type of compensation? I don't think that's ever happened. Like that's like outright like, here's a game. That I can't ever remember that happening. I've had companies ask me to remove bad reviews before. This is very rare that this has happened. But I've had that happen, but never because of, never for like money or anything. No, I don't think that's ever happened where anyone's offered me anything for a good review. Which seems odd. You think someone would have offered it to me along the way. That's probably for the best, right? Well, you reviewed Mcard, or is it too much of a toy like a Tactics? You like a Tactics. I mean, I guess you're saying a Tactics, so I don't know what Mcard is. I guess I'll look it up. I'm in a web searching mood today. Mcard. Transforming robot toy. Ooh. These are expensive, though. These are like $24 for one of these things. I want them. Is there like a cheaper way to get these? It looks like they're Transformers mixed with cards. But is the game any good? What does it do? Oh, it's from Korea. Oh, it's from Korea. That's interesting. I bet they don't cost $25 over there. But how does it play? Why does it have cards? This is very interesting to me. Okay, well, no, I haven't. And seeing those prices, probably not going to. What denomination are you? I'm a $10 bill. Let's see. Do you believe that the Monolith Batman board game is going to be a huge thing? I would argue that maybe it already is. Has 10,000 backers, 2.5 million. I think that that's succeeded. It may not be in the top 5 Kickstarters of all time. We'll see. There's a lot of time left in the campaign. All they have to do is be like, Superman's in it, and they're going to make another 100,000 or whatever. We'll see. Did you get to try Feudum yet? Remember when I said me and Melody left the game on my table at home? If your family was a family of speaking animals from Narnia, what type of animals would the Vasels be? Ducks, I'm sure. How can you not care for pancakes or waffles? Sacrilege. I don't know. They're okay. I'm not a big fan of pancakes at all, actually. But waffles, I like them, but I just never go out of my way to eat them. What do you do? Do you have a good feeling for the up-and-coming Harry Potter Kickstarter? No, I don't really know anything about it. I don't know the company. That's the biggest thing. I don't know if this company is going to do a good job or not. Maybe they will. I'm not sure. Let's see here. Kimchi takes months, isn't it? It's like sauerkraut. I don't know if it takes months, but it takes weeks. I think it takes a month or so, maybe a little bit more than a month to make kimchi. What's your opinion on new board game reviewers? Hooray! We should have more board game reviewers. I don't think that I don't like sit around and be like, what? Another board game reviewer? They should stop. I think that's good to have more board game reviewers. Let's see. What's the best emergency medicine themed board game? The sequel to Fuse, Flatline. I think that's a good one, right? Have you considered doing a top 10 least impactful expansions? No. As much fun as it can be sometimes to make some of these lists where we're like, let's talk about these games, you know, the top 10 worst games of all time. I'm not really a fan of doing that consistently, right? I'd rather make lists of top 10 about things that we like. They're more useful. Top 10 least useful expansions? I don't know. I'd have to like dredge up. That wouldn't be really useful, I don't think. What's the most beautiful special reviewer copy edition you've ever received of a game? Well, I've gotten several, but the nicest one I've ever gotten was from Tom Felber, who's on the Spiel des Jahres nominees, judges. He took a sabbatical from being a Spiel des Jahres judge, and traveled the world. And so he came to Korea. So when he came to Korea, I let him stay at my place. I went and picked him up and brought him in, and he went and toured and looked around for a while. We played some games together. He taught me Alia Acta Est. We talked about lots of gaming and stuff, and then I took him back to the airport and he was on his way. Like, used me as a stop in Korea. A few years later, I left Korea. I was in Homestead, Florida. And one day, Laura said, some guy stopped by and dropped off the Settlers of Catan Deluxe Edition. It's like, what? Who? What? Someone just stopped by our house? He was on his trip now through America and was going to visit the Keys, and they go right by my house when you're waiting to go to the Keys. And so he stopped by. I wasn't home. I was at school teaching, and that was pretty cool. I got to meet him later on, thank him for it. I gave that copy to the Dice Tower Convention, so it's still there. But that was a pretty neat thing. I was very, very, and he did it as a thank you. That's quite a thank you, right? I mean, most people are pretty content with like a note. That was amazing. What were your favorite celebrities, fictional characters add into the game when you play celebrities? I actually never play celebrities. I just use Time's Up. And it already has a ton of different people in it. In fact, we're going to be making very soon, I said we might do it this week, and maybe we will still. If it's not this week, it will be 2 weeks from now. We'll be making a poll where you guys will be able to vote on who you would like to see in our custom Time's Up cards. Someone's asked me to do a top 10 legacy games. People ask this all the time, or legacy/campaign games. No, not yet. Campaign games, maybe someday I'll do that, but there's so few of them. We would all list the exact same ones. The Batman board game is way too expensive. $320 for everything. It is expensive, but I feel pretty confident you could get it and flip it and maybe not make money, but you'd get your money back if you don't like it. You put cards in a table. This is back to Mcard. Pull back and launch cards at the cards. They grab the cards and flip open like Transformers. Oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. That's amazing. But they're so expensive. I can't do it. A pox upon you, Trevin, for telling me about such a thing. Jimmy's birthday is like 10 months away. I can't even use that as an excuse. Oh, let's see. What are you playing lately that's not for review purposes? Well, when we were at a Recon, I played several games. I played a lot of different games there that weren't for review purposes. Keep playing Teeth Tashin. But since I got back, everything I played has been for review purposes, I think. Yes, for sure. Sweet or savory? I prefer savory. Is there a game that you gave the Dice Tower seal of approval to that you regret now? Not off the top of my head. There's probably games I've given Dice Tower seal of approval to which have tilted down a little bit. I don't know that I regret it. But because I've moved up you need to get at least a 7 to get Dice Tower seal of approval. Even if those dip a little bit over time, it still works. And that's why one of the reasons I raised it. You said you played 40K in the past. This is talking about Warhammer 40K. What made you stop? Too many games? You're planning to try 8th edition. So no to the last one. What made me stop? Well, there was a variety of factors. I was playing the game, and I went to Korea, and I had all my stuff shipped to me. So there was 2 main reasons. One was there was really no one in Korea to play the game with. I mean, Sam came over, but just playing one person, you know, you want to play different people, right? But 2, I was just getting tired of it. I was getting tired of the modeling. I never really liked the modeling that much in the painting. I know it's that some people's jam, it's just not mine. And even when I was in Pensacola, which is where I was living when I was playing it, I didn't really like a lot of the people who I played Warhammer 40K with. They just were not fun to play with. They min-maxed everything. They ran weird armies. They would argue over the rules. It was just not the most pleasant of environments. Like, we went to a tournament and I won the best attitude award or whatever it's called, and it wasn't because I had like a great attitude. It's because I just was normal. So that's one of the reasons. But it's also expensive, and again, people who play it, that's fantastic if you like it. It's just not really something I want to play much these days. I don't really have much thoughts about the Oscar winners. People keep asking me about that. I think awards are interesting. Obviously, we do the Dice Tower Awards, right? So there's reasons we talk about awards, but it's just not that big of a deal to me. to movie awards, because a lot of movies that win awards are movies I'm not that interested in. I'm kind of out of sync, I guess, with the movie award. And it's really interesting to me how this happens, because this is so different than the board game industry. Like, Gloomhaven is like clearly one of the most popular games that came out last year. It's probably going to win some board game awards along the way. Probably. But last year, Star Wars and other big movies came out. Dunkirk and big movies that lots of people really enjoyed. But they have no shot at winning really any award other than sound and editing and all that. They don't get like best. You don't hardly ever see blockbusters in best movies of the year. But with board games, a game that does really well over the course of the year has a very good shot at being game of the year. It's just very interesting to me, and that's why movies, I'm just kind of out of sync. I find a lot of times that these Oscar nominated movies, I shouldn't say Oscar, because they are, the Oscar nominated movies are considered to be great movies by people, and I always just feel dumber when I watch the movie and I'm like, sure, that really sad and twisted movie about a person who's really kind of a cretin. I don't like that person at all. They had some sort of personal discovery, and so now they're slightly less of a cretin or more of a cretin or whatever. And that's an Oscar winner. Yay! Can I go back to watching this other movie which made me cheer or laugh or cry? I guess there's a lot of crying in Oscar movies, but again, it is what it is. But I don't really care. It's not like I'm sad what movies win or happy what movies win. I'm more interested in, like, was there any skits at the Oscar Awards that were interesting? Do you think there's a lack of genres for party games? For instance, too many social deduction games. I don't know what your question is, a lack of genres. For me, most party games fall into, well, there's social deduction is one. Word party games is another. Charades. You Be the Judge / party game where everyone's playing a card and one person's picking, think apples to apples. And there's the just be silly for the sake of being silly party games, and then there's probably miscellaneous. That seems like I've covered most of the different categories. I'm trying to think of different party games and how they fit. There's also, I guess, storytelling party games where I'm trying to sell you on something or tell a story, or am I lying or not? That might fall under charades a little bit too. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll make some categories and say definitive categories, in which case I'll get a lot of people saying, who are you? Will the Time's Up cards being designed by the Dice Tower backers for the Kickstarter reward be usable for non-gamers, or do you think the cards will be too niche for non-gamers? No, I don't know. I don't know what the names will be on them and such, but I don't think they'll be too niche, because here's the deal. Even if you don't know someone on a card, that's not the point of Time's Up. The point is to use the names on that card to get them there. So if it says Joe Faluca, and I don't know who Joe Faluca is, but I can say the first name is like, is like a, they call a cuppy a steaming cup of what? And, of Joe. Okay, now the last name, Kalufka. Eventually you get them. That's how the game works. Are you thinking about doing Twitch-only streams? No, I don't think so. I think we'll always stick with YouTube. But don't hold me to that, but I think so. How easily could you do a top 10 books? That would be a tough one. There's a lot of great books I've read in my life. I'd have to sit around and think about it for a long time. And even then, I might make a caveat of like books, fiction books, and nonfiction, and biographies, and kids' books. There's so many great books I've read in my life. I'm reading a good book now that's a nonfiction book. Someone recommended it to me. What's the name of it? And it was not anything like what I was expecting. So, Slavery by Another Name. It's about a part of history that I didn't even know anything about. It's a Pulitzer Prize winning account, and someone recommended that I read it. So I'm in the middle of reading it, and this is one of those ones I can't speed read through. There's just a lot of information in it. So that's what I'm reading now. Although sometimes I'm going to pull out of this book and read something else, just kind of like Yay, happiness, because this book is fairly somber. A lot of things that happen in it. I'm interested in your thoughts on how gaming can help mental health. I don't believe I'm qualified to answer that. I'm going to say I think it does, but that is my unqualified opinion. I think doctors would be better at it than myself. What's the first game you did a video review of? I want to say it's for the Shadows of Camelot expansion. That might not be right, but I feel like that's the first one I did a review for. Top 10 Chief Sokoto's board games of all time? No, I don't think I'm going to do that. That would be too much work, and if I asked him to do that, I think he'd be pretty annoyed. He's too busy saving the world, the universes, and multiple timelines. He does not have time to be giving the top 10 board games. Ask me a question I can't answer about him, not like a list or something. Do you think Sam secretly likes Rising Sun more than Blood Rage but won't admit it? Why would he lie? I don't see what the point of that is. I think he likes Blood Rage better. He's been very clear on that. If a game earned a Dice Tower seal of approval under the old system, does it get to keep it if it no longer qualifies? You know, the seals we hand out are the seals we hand out, right? I'm not going back and be like, I'm sorry, but you need to give that back. No, that's nonsense. No, it is what it is. When do you expect Deep Pockets will get released? This summer. It's supposed to be coming out at Gen Con. Best Board Games YouTube channel. That's a hard one. Come back. What are some things you think would increase the quality of life for game nights that are overlooked? Something that enhances a board game experience. Oh, that's interesting. Smells. Like getting some nice candles and make the thing smell good. I don't know if that's overlooked. I say snacks, but everyone does snacks and drinks. Comfortable seats. Do you think about that? Do you have enough seats for everybody? But I don't know if there's anything I can say that people are like, oh, I never thought of that. What's your least favorite recent design from Eric Lang? That's very specific. What kind of question is that? Have you considered a Dice Tower seal of innovation? First recipient would be innovation. No, it would not be the first recipient. No, but there might be other seals coming your way soon. Let's see. Can you do a top 10 least favorite comic book characters? I don't think I could do a top 10. I mean, there's Negan and the Governor, for sure, would be there. I disliked, I mean, the Governor was, I guess he makes a good villain, but Negan for sure. If we go to superheroes, I have to say Deadpool's getting on my nerves lately. I know, oh, heaven forbid you say anything bad about Deadpool, but in the comics, it's just like, dude, shut up. I mean, and they're constantly telling him to shut up, and his shtick works for a while, but maybe this is because recently I've been reading a whole Deadpool series, but after a while it's just like, oh, the merc with a mouth, take away the mouth part, which they did in one of the X-Men movies, in the Wolverine movie. Let's see, what other characters when they show up? The White Queen, I'm not a big fan of the White Queen. Not a big fan of, Cyclops. Yeah, I mean, the new Cyclops is better, but the older Cyclops, there's a lot of annoying ones. I like most characters, though. I mean, even if they're bad guys, I find them interesting. Maybe Magneto gets old after a while, and they don't seem that comics don't have a very good grasp. Marvel does not have a good grasp on what they want him to be. You know, he started out as a villain, and then he reformed, then became a villain again, and then reformed, and then became a villain again, then went into hiding, and then was an X-Men, but a normal X-Men, and then was like the leading the X-Men, and it's this confusing thing. They do not know what they want to do with Magneto. Someone won a jet ski at the Oscars. That was fun. Oh, yeah. I'm all in favor of that. I think they gave it out for shortest speech. Oh, hooray for short speeches. Although, honestly, if you watch the Oscars, they have these like really strict limits on people on the speeches that they can give, and the speeches are probably the best part, right? Especially when they're not just a list of thank yous. You know, they have to say thank you to God, their mother, the person, their agent, and then everyone they worked with, and that's fine. I'm not saying that they should say, but when they say something else, I'm kind of interested at, and then they start getting played off, and instead we have to sit around and watch a lot of nonsense, and sometimes the people presenting the awards are doing their own little shtick, and it's not that interesting. I think they give them a very short amount of time, especially if their award is not a big award. How big or small is your pile of shame? I don't know that I have a pile of shame. I can look over here and see there's probably 100+ games in shrink, but that's not a wall of shame. That's just games that we're going to open in our unboxing videos and then move over to our other wall, which is games that we need to play through. There's some games that I've been sitting on the playthrough for a long time I haven't got to, but I don't know that I ever feel ashamed about it because I'm always playing new games. So I don't think that counts for me as a reviewer, but I always, when I got a game, I want to play it, right? I don't know that I would want to go buy more games until I play the ones I have. How does it feel to be facilitating a top 100 or top 10 compared to joining in? That's okay. Let's see here. Who is Chief Sokotoa? I feel, oh, they wrote Sokoto. It's Sokotoa. I feel like I'm missing something here. Oh, the Chief Sokotoa, well, he's kind of an enigma wrapped in a riddle, stuffed with a lie. But he and I are special agents for the Galactic well, we're actually agents for like 6 different agencies. But anyway, we worked together for many, many decades, going through time and space and stopping different bad events from happening. And you owe him your life. So remember his name. But you'll forget it. You'll laugh it off. Story. Yeah, he's done many great things. And he'll probably never get much recognition. The most recognition he ever gets is right here on my show here. But you won't see him on CNN or Fox News or CBS. You won't see him on the internet. But he is on the internet, and he's saving lives every day. Your old reviews on Board Game Geek are great. Do you miss doing them? Never! Writing was good. It was good, but it was a phase, and I'm glad to be on video. I like video better. Were you a Community fan? Yeah, sure, I like the show, although I never did watch the Yahoo final season. And when Troy left, the character Troy left, the show was not quite as good. I think Chief Sokotoa is a Time Lord. No, he's not like a Time Lord. First of all, Time Lord, the Doctor, not a real show. I mean, not a real thing. It's just a TV show. And secondly, TARDIS. You don't need to use a TARDIS to move through time and space. What's your favorite part about Magic the Gathering? Mechanism, theme, pace, or freedom? My favorite thing about Magic the Gathering is deck building, which is probably why I don't play it so much. I just like making a fun deck. I've always liked deck building. Do you like Douglas Adams' books? I think they're okay. He's a little too cheeky at times. Like, I like humor, but I don't necessarily need to have humor in every single sentence of a book. His first book was better. I'm talking about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I've actually not read anything else by him. I've read all of them. I like the first and the last. There was a sequel of sorts made by somebody else that I just didn't feel like it worked. But it was just like this nonstop stream of funniness, and sometimes I just would have liked the story to proceed. I don't know how to explain it, but he's good. Do you tell your kids a lot of stories about Chief Sokotoa? The kid-appropriate ones, yeah. I hate Deadpool. He's the internet, the character. Yeah, possibly. Will someone from the Dice Tower crew be reviewing Castell, or will come from a Dice Tower contributor? Well, I believe it's going to come from someone on the Dice Tower as I look over at the game now on my list of games to review. What is Chief Sokotoa the chief of? Huh, many, many things. He's the chief of me. Least favorite casting decision in a comic book movie? Ben Affleck? I'm assuming you're talking about Ben Affleck as Daredevil, because that was not a decision I was totally on board with. I don't care about him as Batman. Yeah, it's probably Ben Affleck as Daredevil, actually. Oh, no, Jessica Alba as Sue Storm. That did not work for me. She was more, she didn't come across as, she was too, she was Jessica Alba, right? I couldn't take her, I couldn't take Jessica Alba. She never became the character, I think, is the problem. She never became Sue Storm. Mind you, I've not seen the Fantastic Four, the new movie, so I don't know if that one's any good or not. Do you think Fun Again going out of business is a direct result of the protection of friendly local game stores? No, I don't think so. I'm sure there's a lot of factors that went into it. Probably a lot of them aren't any of our business. Cut out all the musical performances at the Oscar and allow longer speeches. Well, I do like the musical performances, though. I like music a lot. What's your opinion about the new Eldritch Horror expansion? There's a lot of criticism online. Well, I guess you'll have to wait for the review to come out this week. Do you ever feel overwhelmed with the amount of bad games being produced? Well, not really. There's a lot of bad games that are being produced, but there's a lot of good ones. I play good games all the time. So, you know, me and Melody were playing some games the other night. We played this really small little game that was really good, you know, and it's like, yeah, good little small game. We're always glad to see that because there's so many bad little small games, but the ratio has never really felt like it's been that off for me. Do you ever wish you were just an average gamer and not a guy with over 100 games and Shrink to be reviewed? Nah, I like this. Your shirt is rubbing against the mic a lot recently. Sorry. Is it doing it now? Hopefully that clears it up. Let's see. Someone should write a fanfic of Tom and Chief Sokotoa? Nah. Let's see here. Are you going to see A Wrinkle in Time when it comes out? Will it be a big family event? I don't think so. In fact, I'm not even sure my girls read that book, and I'm not even sure I would tell them that they should, because it's a kind of a confusing book anyway. Probably not. We'll probably all watch it when it comes out on video. I mean, streaming or whatever. Who's my favorite director of all time? Well, I don't know. Ron Howard? Am I a fan of pinball? Oh, am I a fan of pinball? I love pinball. Best pinball machine? Easy. It's, I forget the name of it. It's a circus one that's in the Las Vegas Pinball Hall of Fame with 3 levels. There's only one in the world that's operational, and that's where it is. That's my favorite by far. Although I really like the Roller Coaster Tycoon pinball machine. That's a lot of fun. And there was a soccer one that I played forever and a day one time. Let's see here. What's one game that you always find attracts spectators? Any dexterity game usually does, because people come around like, what are you doing? What are you guys doing? Because there's always laughs and yells and boos and watching things fall or get flicked. That's what people like it. Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl was the worst. That's a good choice, but actually, I think we can take that whole movie. I don't think George Clooney was ever good as Batman. I don't think Chris Donald was good as Robin. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze did not work. Whoever played Bane, I don't even remember who it was. That didn't work. Yeah, that was just a casting disaster. Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. I tried to scrub that movie from my memory. Okay. Favorite teams in the following sports? NBA, don't care. Sorry, I really don't. NFL, Dolphins. Major League Baseball, Blue Jays. NHL, also don't care. Sorry. College football, this one I care like in a negative way, as in I hope all the college football teams lose. And college basketball, same thing. Just because of how annoying people are during the playoffs and March Madness, and people walking around acting. They haven't even gone to that college and they're wearing its colors and acting all proud. I'm like, okay, sure. It's not that big of a deal. Then they look at you like, what? You don't care? I'm sorry. But you didn't ask me about football. I mean, soccer. Well. By the way, a lot of people ask me a specific question about the Oscars. I did not watch them, so I don't know. Oh, Halle Berry as Catwoman. Oh, yeah, that was pretty bad, too. Any recommendation for first-time player of Sidereal Confluence? Really go in there and watch. Never give anyone anything that you don't need to give them. But at the same time, don't be afraid to trade. Just be constantly trading. Recommended Rising Sun clans for 4-player game? I don't know. Play whatever you want, I guess. I don't know if there's any that I think would be bad or only work with a certain number of players. Will you give your opinion for paid previews, or will you remain indifferent for a period of time? Well, I'm not doing paid previews. I'm doing paid playthroughs, and I've only done one, and there is 0 lined up. So it's not going to be something happen, and I just told you I thought the Batman game looks pretty fun. I don't think I would do a paid playthrough for a game I wasn't interested in. And again, I have nothing lined up. So when you are in Vegas, go to the Pinball Hall of Fame. Been there. Love it. Do you ever go back and watch your old videos and compare how far you've come today to where you were when you started? Sometimes it makes me feel better, right? I look at them and be like, wow, that was not very good. Sorry, I'm not answering a lot of questions. I'm just kind of zooming through looking for ones that are good, and some people get upset when I miss your question. I apologize, but I'm just looking for ones I want to answer. With all the games produced, how do you decide which ones to review, play through, and unbox? Well, there's a couple things. I mean, for unboxing, I do a mix of random, like, well, let's unbox this, to people really want to see this one, so that one's going to get unboxed. There's a lot of that. But for reviewing, same sort of thing. But for reviewing, every Wednesday, and that includes this Wednesday, is Dice Tower Tonight, where I bring 6 games, and you guys pick the one I review, for good or for bad. And so we've done that. I think the 4th review is coming out this Thursday. I've already reviewed the game, actually. It's in the can, being edited, and that's because you guys picked it. I would not have picked that game, probably, but you guys picked it. Favorite Jim Carrey movie? Probably Liar Liar. Would you be willing to play my prototype at MeepleCon on Sunday? No, and I apologize, but it's probably, I'm glad you asked me now. I don't play prototypes at conventions almost ever. There's some exceptions that I've made as time has gone by for various reasons, but I don't do it because I just don't. That's all I would do. And if I make an exception, especially at a con, that's all I'll do the whole con. People bring me prototypes. So I play published games at conventions with people, and I'm sorry about that, but that's just, it's for my own sanity. And you'll probably get better feedback from other people anyway. Why the Blue Jays? When I was a kid, I just picked a random team. I liked blue, so I picked the Blue Jays. Any advice for playing board games while also having a 2-month-old? Put them in bed and play the board game. I'm not sure what you want me to say there. Play board games when they're sleeping. Oh, best Jim Carrey movie. I said Liar Liar. That's wrong. It's one of my favorite movies. The Truman Show. Hands down, that's my favorite Jim Carrey movie. I love The Truman Show. People that didn't go to college they support would be the same as someone rooting for the Blue Jays that isn't from Toronto, right? Well, sure. It's just that I don't go to church wearing Blue Jay stuff. I don't wave Blue Jay flags and run out the next day and say, look what I never use the word we when talking about the Blue Jays. I don't work for them or anything. And I wear their hat occasionally. but you're right. I'm a hypocrite. Probably. Oh, Shaka Steele and Nick Cage's Ghost Rider. Man, guys, you're coming up with so many good answers for bad casting. Oh, yes. I think Shaquille O'Neal as Steele might win the prize there. How do you feel about large retail stores now carrying board games, such as Target, Barnes & Noble, etc.? Do you think it's good or bad? I can't see why it would be bad. The Star Wars pinball games in the smartphone, they're awesome. Oh, I play them on the iPad, and you're right, they are awesome. I really like the pinball games on the iPad. Let's see here. Do you have a preferred gaming surface? Neoprene, felt, speedcloth. Speedcloth is my favorite. Felt works. Both of those are my favorite. Neoprene's fine. What Christian denomination are you? I'm a Christian $10 bill. Let's see. Do you log your plays? I do not. Tom, do you think the FFG's LCG monthly release schedule still makes sense? I don't know. I don't play the LCGs, so it must be making sense. Otherwise, they would probably stop doing it, I guess. Fidget spinner in a game like rotating space stations, good or bad? Probably bad, because a fidget spinner spins so easily, it'd be hard to keep it like set to where it's supposed to go, unless you want it to be constantly spinning. Did you get the new expansion for Civilization 6? You know, I went to look at the new expansion for Civilization 6, and I didn't see that it was out for the Mac yet. Maybe it's out by now. Maybe someone can tell me. But as far as I can tell, it isn't out for the Mac yet. Seth Rogen as Green Hornet. Nah, I didn't mind that one as much. Jennifer Garner as Elektra. Meh. I mean, I didn't think they were great, but they're not as bad as some of the other ones that were mentioned. I bought Viral from Amazon and the quality is terrible. Thin cards, scratched and taped game board. Several people commented that theirs was poor quality too. Is it possibly that you got a counterfeit copy of the game? I don't know, but it seems like that might be a possibility. Because my copy seems fine quality. Where do you go first in Champions and Mcard? More dice. I don't care where it is. I want more dice. Going to Disney World in 3 weeks. Congratulations. Any suggestions for small games to play while waiting in the airport? Whatever you think is fun. I know people always like, what should I do? There's really so many games to play. I don't know anyone in particular. This happens all the time. There are emails, and if you sent me an email and I haven't responded, I apologize. I get these a lot, where people say, what should I get next? And first of all, I don't have a lot of time to answer each person individually, but I don't know you, right? You might like something I hate. Unless you and I are the exact same person, I can't tell you what you should get at any given point in time. For example, I never take board games to an airport to play in the station. It's okay. I guess you can do it, but it doesn't mean anything to me. I'm much more interested in like playing my iPad and playing some games at the airport. I'd rather play where there's more space. But maybe you do like that, so then Facebook group. Did I start a Facebook group? They'll answer you. Would you still recommend City of Gears? I am recommending it. The Truman Show is the scariest movie I've ever seen. Well, maybe. Man on the Moon? I like that one. Do you wear Dice Tower shirts to church? I try not to ever do so. I have occasionally if I go right from work and I'm wearing one, but I don't normally wear them to church, no. People are talking about Jim Carrey movies now for a while. I got viral. Mine's flying out of the box. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know what happened with the viral copy there. I would email Arcane Wonders, but realize there are counterfeit copies of these games going around. Do you have a favorite polyhedral dice size? Yes, D12s for sure. I'm not going to go watch the Mcard video because I'm not going to buy it. You will not get me into buying Mcard, hopefully. Will you be reviewing Button Men? It's all dice. Yeah, that's what I heard. It's kind of weird it's still called Button Men, but hey, I'll play it for sure. I have it. I just haven't played it yet. Isn't it the 5th of March in the U.S. by now? Is this not live? No, it's not live. You're watching me in the past. I don't know what. Okay. Oh, it's lagging. Oh, the Twitch one is lagging. That's weird. We'll have to look at it later on. Oh, it's 2 o'clock. Well, folks, that's going to be it for me this time. I apologize. I hope that you have a fantastic time. Thanks so much for watching live Q&A. Have a great day. I will see you back, hopefully, for Dice Tower tonight. That's Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So me and Eric Summer will be talking then. And, of course, we'll be posting lots of things in between then and now. Tomorrow, many different reviews are going up. Both my reviews for the Raiders of the North Sea, the expansions, are going up. And other things are coming your way soon enough. All right. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. All right, let's find some other sticks here.